First part of the question says, review the metaphors of cultural diversity on page 59 through 61, and then propose another metaphor we might use to characterize cultural diversity in the United States. Explain how and why your metaphor works. And I said, another metaphor that could be used to describe America is that we can be considered Skittles. Skittles come in many different colors, and not everyone is the same size. Some Skittles are even deformed. But in the end, Skittles are all living in one bag and are still considered a Skittle, no matter what the shape or color. Just as Justine described on the cultural connection on page 71, it said, look around, she says. There are Indians and Vietnamese, Mexicans, and Filipinos. Americans can be Asian, Hispanic, Native American, Irish, Middle Eastern, and so many other ethnicities. But we are also considered Americans. We have skinny people, obese people, young, old, beautiful, and attractive people, athletes, smart people, and the list goes on. But we are all still Americans. That is why America is like Skittles. The second part of the question asks, what do we lose and what do we gain by using more general terms such as Asian American and Native American when referring to different cultural groups in the United States? How do you want people to refer to your culture or nationality? And I said, something we lose when referring to terms such as Asian American or Native American is your sense of individualism. There are many different types of Asians, so by being referred to as an Asian can mean Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, or many other ethnicities. So in a way, you lose a little bit of your individual identity. Something you can gain by the terms of Native American or Asian American is numbers. Being a minority tends to not be a positive variable, so grouping more ethnicities together to make an overall general category increases the power of the group. And if you really take it to an extreme like the mom from the cultural connection on page 62, you categorize yourself in a group and then trace your heritage back to something that your ancestors may contain, more ethnicities than you could have possibly imagined. And then the last part of the question says, review the basic behaviors listed in the box on page 73 and the accompanying explanations on pages 72 through 76. Which of those behaviors do you think are most important for a competent intercultural communicator to master, and why? I said the behavior that I think is most important of those listed on page 70 is the display of respect. Once you show a person that you have respect for them, all the other important behaviors sort of fall into place. If you have respect for someone, you are willing to automatically be empathetic to them because you give them enough credit to actually be able to teach you something with an interaction posture. I just I think that a very important part in communication with someone is to make them feel like they're on the same level as you and respect them enough to hear them out. The father described in the cultural connection on page 59 had respect for America. He did not try and change America with his beliefs, but instead gave it respect by letting it change him and even influence his children.